Welcome back to the Desk Talk Podcast with your hosts, Trent Werner and Alex Magala, bringing you weekly episodes talking business, personal development, and all things real estate. Let's do it! We are at the desk, and we're going to talk today with Tucker Hamilton, my boy, my best friend. Tuck, let's start it off by having you tell us a little bit about yourself. You can say hey to everybody if you want, but what do you do now? How'd you get here? Just a little bit about yourself. Obviously, we've been friends since 2010. So yeah. I'm probably gonna know most of this, if not all of it. But
you should.
For we'll say for Alex.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Tucker Hamilton. I'm 25 now.
Recently turned 25.
Yes, recently. And I do video for the Blazers, digital video and editing, everything besides broadcast. Which is really fun, but I also still do my freelance stuff. So that's anything from live events like concerts, weddings, and then other stuff with, commercial real estate, building tours. I fly my drone, just any sort of project that needs a video, any sort of industry. I've dabbled in a lot of stuff.
What about photos?
No.
Really?
I haven't really had the need. I mean, sure, there are times where, like, if I did know both, maybe I could have, budgeted more or gotten different gigs, being able to do both. But, like, when I go into a project, I had the video mindset. And if I'm going to be flipping back and forth between photos, it's just different. And usually, they'll budget in a photographer who will get paid more. So there's a little bit of beef there. But, oh, yeah. Well, I did do grad photos at Arizona, just easy money. So I've done photos. I can take a photo.
Yeah, you know how to.
I do. But my main thing is video.
You like to get more creative with video.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's easier to get creative with video than photo, in my opinion.
It's a storytelling aspect. Like, that's the biggest thing that excites me about it. It's like, all right, I can go into this. Sure, there's a shot sheet. Sure, the client maybe has their ideas of what they want to do, and I'll definitely work with that. But it's like the ability to tell a story through moving pictures, with sound and music and everything. I mean, it's exciting. It's fun.
So you said you took grad photos at Arizona. Mm-hmm. I know from experience that you started, with the whole video content creation before college.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you kind of picked it up in high school.
Yeah.
What made you want to start doing it? Because, you're kind of the only one of, our friend group that was really into, the visual creation stuff.
Yeah. I would say that we kind of grew up with, the beginning of the YouTube generation. And beginning YouTube, OG YouTube, was really, comedy sketches, organic, very creative content that was it just captured you. It didn't necessarily have to be shot, in a really crazy, dramatic, engaging way, but it was just cool. Everyone was putting up videos, everyone was making stuff, and growing up I always fooled around with my parents, video camera. I got my first MacBook laptop, the one with the camera, and I put it on one of the desk chairs with wheels and film. That was the first stabilizer. Should have copyrighted that. But yeah, I was always just intrigued by videos, and iMovie was available. It was free. It was easy to learn. And so, in high school, I was like, well, let's hop on this comedy sketch trend. So Trent and I co-founded a company called Fat Films with the PH.
Fat.
Yeah.
We were successful in catering to our audience, which was high school people who just wanted to laugh, to giggle. And so, we did everything from writing scripts to directing, to pretty much everything, and that was fun. A lot of creative juices were flowing with all of us.
It was pure comedy to watch that shit.
It was great. You look back on it now, it's just hilarious. We were pioneers.
I have a quick story about high school. I remember Tuck got his first GoPro, and something was going on with his, and so he asked a buddy to borrow, this guy's GoPro. And it's summer day. We're out at his parents' house. They have a pool. We're messing around with the underwater capabilities because it was an early GoPro. Yeah. And Tuck goes, okay, I'm going to press record, and then we're going to play catch with it. And so we're playing catch back and forth, and then he throws a just juiced fastball at me, skips off the water. I miss it right into the concrete side of the pool. Case opens.
Yep.
GoPro falls out.
Camera flooded.
I totally forgot about that. That was unbelievable.
I just remember that right now.
I just decided to chuck it. And the GoPro was such a game changer because when we would do our car scenes for Fat Films, there'd be duct tape, and we put the camera under the mirror, and just that would be
the mount.
The mount.
Now they got suction cups and the whole nine.
They do adhesive tape.
So that was early day with just kind of like getting your feet wet, figuring it out. And then when you get to college, I feel like that's when you really kind of
fell in love with it.
Like you found your style. Yeah. And like, I mean, you've done, especially some of like the concert videos with the music and like the synchronization of like just the frames and where the music is at.
The effects too.
Yeah.
All the crazy stuff that you put on. I mean,
that's where you got to like the next level. So talk about like, you know, what made you wanted to keep going with it and what kind of drove your progression in terms of like the editing aspect in itself.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was something that I was kind of not thrown into, but like people had heard that I did videos in high school and joined a fraternity, and they were like, hey, well, we've got a philanthropy coming up. You know, you've got a video camera down here. Would you mind like making some sort of recap video? We can send it to people. Whatever. I'm like, yeah, definitely. That sounds fun. So that was like my first project in college. And then, you know, word got around, sororities, other sort of clubs were reaching out to me. And at that point, you know, their video editing and shooting for kids my age was like really picking up. Like whether you were in college, whether you were traveling the world, making really cool videos, that's kind of when it started to rise. And
it's like YouTube was taking off.
YouTube was taking off.
And then now Instagram and all these social medias too.
Because with Instagram, now you have to make everything either needs to be under a minute or it's going on this format or it's this. So all your audiences are changing and there's so many of them. So you have to do so much. But yeah, that's when it really started to take off. And that was the easiest way to market myself. And so I got really big into electronic music, like EDM music, rap music. And Tucson, luckily, it's right under Phoenix, so a lot of festivals, you know, come down to Tucson. A lot of artists come down to Tucson, and at the time, like, you know, touring DJs, they would always have a video guy. So he would come, he'd do after movies, he'd make all this content, and that just looks super appealing to me. I mean, you're traveling the country with the DJ, going to these crazy festivals. It's just you and him, and you're, you know, in charge of making all the content. That sounded amazing. So I wanted to do that like professionally. Realized later down the road maybe it's not the most attainable thing, and now it's just kind of overplayed. But I was able to hop on to some early festivals, a lot of shows, a couple different venues in Tucson that had regular people, and I was lucky enough to get in and shoot those, and then just kind of play around with some effects that I thought would be cool and appealing to people my age, and not really even thinking about it. Just like, how can I make this transition as seamless as possible? How can I take two clips and I want to, you know, fade into his face, or I want to use some sort of swipe effect or something like
a swirl on the head and then it pops out into another
glasses,
clip.
Yeah, the glasses with the swirl.
All the animations. It just kind of became a fun game of like, how cool can I make this? How outlandish or ridiculous can this look, but still be cool?
Yeah.
So yeah, luckily I think I really kind of honed my craft in college because I was able to do so many different things. And I was just learning a ton just based off YouTube and watching other people on social media. That was all my learning.
So obviously there's got to be some sort of difference between shooting a wedding and Steve Aoki at a frat party.
Right, yeah.
So obviously you're not throwing like mad effects on a wedding video.
You can't.
How does one how does one go from rave DJ EDM video to, you know, special day celebration or, you know, some of the other kind of more or commercial building tours? Like, how do you go from one to the other?
I think it's just, you know, going back to the whole storytelling aspect and like understanding what the goal is, what your client's goal is. And there's still ways for you to make it cool. You can still do some transitions, but you kind of got to know your audience and know where this is being played. You know, no one needs to see flashing eye effects around, you know, a guy giving a building tour. Like, that's just not the time and place. So
no. Here's the living room.
Hello. I think it's just you got to find a happy medium, and weddings especially. I mean, that's kind of just so cut and dry. Like, I mean, you know what you need to shoot going into it. You have the things in your back of your mind where you're like, I can't miss this or else the video's ruined.
Yeah.
So like audio is important. You got to, sometimes have lighting, but you just need to capture the entire day. And those are long days.
Oh, yeah.
Luckily they feed you and maybe you'll sneak in some brewskis every once in a while. But, I mean, I love every type of edit. I don't really go into it or shoots even where it's like, oh man, I got to go shoot like this project for this building or, I got to do something for this company. It's always like, I'm excited. Mm-hmm. I'm thankful for the opportunity. And now I can hone a different side of my craft, which maybe is more low energy, but it's still your storytelling. And you want to make it engaging because if your video is just not going to capture anyone, then your client's going to be pissed because why'd they pay you?
That's the whole point.
No one's going to watch it. So
yeah, I feel like you go in with like you already know what you're looking for out of it, and then that's what makes it kind of exciting. Is like you're like, okay, I'm here, I need to get these shots done, and like this is how I'm going to make the video. Versus a lot of people just show up and shoot and hope they get everything. Versus like having that plan up front.
Oh yeah, having a plan's huge, and especially with more professional style videos with clients, like communication is so important. Mm-hmm. Because if you're not on the same page, then the shoot's going to be different. If you have a different vision than they are having, it's going to be hard to execute it and please both parties. So communication's just been a huge thing, and I'm happy with where I'm at, with being able to manage any project, no matter the size or the budget, and make sure that the client is happy, because that's like the most important thing, or else they're not going to refer you. Mm-hmm. How are you going to grow as a business?
Exactly.
Yeah.
One thing that so full disclaimer, I've helped Tuck with a couple of weddings.
Camera 2.
Yeah, camera 2, and we're talking 2B.
How many shots of yours were used in these videos?
So, and that's where I was getting at. That's where I was getting at is, out of probably 4 weddings that we've done, mm-hmm. I've probably helped with 4 weddings. I've maybe seen about 2.5 of my shots, and most of it is like, hey, Trent, go get B-roll, and I'll throw it in at the end or whatever. And watching you kind of do your thing, like the timeline of the video as you're in the moment. Mm-hmm. And so you can record things and film clips, because you can kind of almost, from what outside perspective, you could kind of almost see how the video is going to roll before it's even done.
Yeah.
And I noticed that at a wedding 2 summers ago. Yeah, 2 summers ago.
Bobby?
Hamburg, yeah. Where, I was just a guest at the wedding, and I'm like kind of behind the scenes watching you, and like you were planning everything out before it happened. Mm. So now you're not having to go back and like spend more time than you already have to editing and doing all that stuff. And I thought that was really interesting, because you have made it more efficient for yourself, and you're not having to, spend hours and hours and hours readjusting things that don't necessarily need it, if you could have done it the right way the first time.
Oh yeah.
That was something that I noticed for sure.
Yeah. And I've been lucky to do so many weddings, and boy, the first ones, it was just kind of run and gun, figure it out. But the worst thing is there's no reshoots. There's not like, hey, can we come out next weekend and
get this in?
Yeah, I just need like 50 people.
My mic cut out for the vows. Yeah. Can we like Tuesday maybe?
Yeah, I mean, there really aren't many second chances, so you kind of have to kill it the first time, or else something big is going to be missing from the video, and it's just going to be music and clips, and it's like, well, this isn't MTV. We don't need that.
Yeah. Can we redo the first look, please?
Yeah, hold on. Dad, could you come back up? Hold the tears. All right, Waterworks, give me them. Yeah, it's just, I've just learned so much, and I've been doing this since high school, but now I just, I feel finally kind of for the first time where I have like confidence going into something, and you guys know what that's like, from when you started in the industry that you're in. Like, having confidence is just, it's everything.
You're not the new guy anymore.
You're not the new guy, and you're not second guessing yourself, and you're not nervous going
People
into
see
something.
it. People see it, and like it bleeds out of you. It's pretty obvious.
Yep.
Because you're always, you second guess everything. You go against your word. Like, you say something, then you're like, well, I don't know about that. Let me check on it. Versus like being confident in your answer. Like, yes, no, you can't do this.
Yeah.
Or like, you can do this. You give off a better persona when you have that confidence behind you, like what you're saying.
It's huge.
Bleeding into like where you're at now, like obviously it's a lot easier to manage it versus probably, some of your coworkers, I don't know, have they been doing it their whole life versus this is kind of, they got into the field in college, started it, and now they're kind of getting their training wheels off now that they're working for a bigger organization?
Right. It's tough because the video and the photo industry, like you talk to most professionals or most people that are doing it for a hobby, like they've had a camera in their hands ever since they can remember.
Yeah.
No matter where they started level wise, it's like this was just always something I did, and I decided to do it as a profession.
Yeah.
It's tough because there's so many different avenues that we can go down now with, doing podcasts, being an audio engineer, being a photographer. I mean, drone pilot, like that's its own specific thing now. So
yeah, like those 3D, those guys that like get it on
FPV
and they
drones, the racing,
holy
which is
hell,
just insane. Like I wouldn't trust me in one of those. You've been to shoots where
you're on drone number
drones.
4.
Yeah.
I watched you park one 150 feet up in a tree at a wedding.
Still there.
During the wedding.
Still filming.
that one's still there.
We just never went back. And it was just
the worst part about that is
what tree? I got a buddy that can climb a tree.
It's
the worst part about that is we were setting the drone up.
Oh.
And, we're standing back. I'm getting ready to watch it take flight. I love watching it shoot up in the air.
Trent, you were my spotter.
Well, no, I know, but listen, you forgot about the first
like
part.
If I fell and I was doing squats and you were just looking.
No, I caught you on this one.
Yeah,
he didn't have the wings tightened down, and so one propeller just flew off.
Oh, that was take off one?
This was at the same wedding.
Oh, this was rough.
And so we get there, and we go to his bag. He doesn't have any backup propellers for that one. And so he goes, dude, we need this drone. Like, you have to go right now. Take my car and go buy propellers. I'm like, okay, where's the closest Best
propeller
Buy?
store?
It was in Tualatin. So it was a 30-minute drive. I broke land speed records getting there and back. We finally get it all figured out. And then he parked it in a tree.
I'm doing this crazy shot, too. I'm like talking to Trent while I'm doing it. I'm like, all right, dude, I've got this great. I've got like a scale out, and I'm also rotating. It's going to be so sick.
And I remember, too, after the first one, I said, dude, that was sick. Like,
yep.
That was money. You're like, nope, I want to do it again. Just one more. And that's when you just hear, we look up and you just see a blinking red light flashing in the tree. We're like, that's not coming down.
There's nothing worse. And the venue was kind of condensed. Where
I bet you it's down from that ice storm now.
Probably
is. Probably frozen. It's probably working still.
Oh, yeah. So
that was rough.
Going back, sorry, I got a couple stories.
No, you got to bust them out.
Obviously, you started off like no one's perfect the first time to pick up the camera. Now you're in college, you're kind of learning the ropes, you're developing your craft. I feel like you gained confidence doing that type of work, right? Mm-hmm. And then you get to the Blazers now, where you work with them, and then you also do freelance stuff. I feel like your freelance stuff, for the most part, is stuff that you're confident in. Like you're not too worried about it. But when you got to more sports and highlight and pump up type videos, or I can't remember like a technical term for it, but
yeah, well they're opens or something before the team comes out.
Exactly, yeah, which I have featured in a couple of them.
Oh yeah.
But so now you're going into the sports world, which is something that you really didn't do kind of coming up. What were the challenges learning that side of content creation? Yeah. I know one of them was like the actual editing software from what you told me. Mm-hmm. So obviously there's got to be other challenges.
Yeah.
What was the biggest learning curve with sports content?
I mean, there was a lot because I was kind of just flying by with, a run and gun mentality in college. Like I'm going to go out there, I'm going to shoot whatever, I'm going to edit it. That's where I'll kind of save myself. I'll save myself in the editing. I'll shoot good enough to edit a great video.
Yeah.
And with sports, like I dabbled in college for the U of A women's basketball team. Shout out to Kevin Edwards, who was team manager for a few years. He hooked me up with a gig where I was like kind of just a creative video intern, they called it, where I would go shoot games practices. I made like a day in the life video. I did a couple of recaps, but filming basketball is hard. I mean, it's tough because it's not like football where where the running back's going to go. The quarterback's dropping back and you got 4 receivers that are going deep. I mean, this is basketball. They could pass it 18 times before it goes in the net. Yeah. And so shooting is really hard, and I'm still not great at it. But I think it was more, I was intimidated going into my internship just because the guys that I was working with, amazing guys, but really, really good at their craft.
Yeah.
And understood, more cinema-style cameras. We've got cinema-style lighting. You need to really hone in on your audio editing skills, to crispen is not a word. Crisp up audio after
sharpen.
Sharpen, I think people say that.
Clarify. Crisp and sharpen together. Crispin.
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 Time out. Needed 20. We needed 20 after that.
20. Let my whistle.
Sweeten, that works.
Sweeten.
Moisten up.
Sweet.
Anyway, so I think that I want to talk about that a little bit more. So I thought you were just editing stuff that other people shoot, but you go and like actually get the footage yourself too.
It depends. I mean, we have kind of a delegated team. Everyone can shoot at the Blazers, but Tristan's our main shooter who will be shooting game footage. He's on the baseline. He's by far the best shooter in the NBA. I mean, it's easy to follow.
Dame has nothing on him.
Right. Dame can't shoot
Steph,
on FS7.
nothing. Yeah.
No chance. So, I mean, he's our lead shooter. He's capturing game footage. So when we edit that, we know it's going to be high quality. Like, we know that he sets the bar up here. So we have easy stuff to work with. It's great. It's money. But when we go out and, pre-COVID, when we were doing community events, whether, players were going to Fred Meyer for a coat drive, or we were going to a respect campaign shoot at Madison High School for Damian, that stuff more or less is kind of run and gun. You know the run of show, he's going to show up here. He's going to give a little speech. Then we're going to, talk to some people. We're going to do this and that. And so you kind of know what you need to get. But it was just learning a bunch of different style of shooting. We do a ton of sit-down interviews. That was really something I hadn't really done before. We use lighting, a ton because, as I know now, it's the most important part of your shoot. If you have bad lighting, you can try to save it all you want in post, but it's not going to look good. So lighting is important. Shout out to your guy.
Kyle has the lighting.
Kyle, yeah, we are tuned in. We got some bounces. I mean, this is immaculate. I think it was just the whole professional style of shooting that I was intimidated and just so, I just didn't know enough. But I learned quick because, the internship was like you're working 40 hours a week, basically. You're just hopping right in, which was great.
Yeah.
That's how you learn the best, I feel
Those
like.
big media days. I remember when I was contacting you to get my headshots done and you're like, got a media day with Mello all of a sudden. Like it's literally all day I'm filming with him. It's just like, damn. Like, just immerse straight into it and and you're going to figure it out or you're going to burn.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and you have a ton of support because there's a great, staff around you and communicating between departments it's just so easy. There's no really hard way to communicate. It all comes naturally, but you kind of realize, okay, these are professionals. We're working for a professional sports team. Like we try to set the bar here and we want to exceed it in every chance we get. So
yeah, like fear of wasting their time. I feel like that's what I would be like so worried of is like these guys,
the players especially,
they just come in and they're like ready to bust it out. And if you're not ready and it's like you're wasting their time, how pissed are they going to get at you? It's just
and you are working with athletes, who are in front of cameras a lot. So we're lucky to, have such a nice roster where everyone's really chill and mellow, no pun intended. We work with some great people that have cameras around them all the time. And we don't have any real issues with that. So, but we try to make it as simple and as quick as possible because we know their time's valuable.
Right.
But it's fun. That's a highlight of the job for sure.
So what do you want to do going forward? Do you see yourself staying in sports long term, or do you want to get back to more of the entertainment type footage? Do you want to do more interviews?
Yeah. I kind of just want to keep doing what I'm doing right now. I'm in such a good spot where I can still do my freelance stuff and still keep clients and diversify as much as possible and learn. And then I've got a great position with the Blazers. And the thing about shooting on the Blazers staff is like it's so much more than just sports. Like there's so many different projects where we do storytelling, we do documentary style films. We're doing stuff for broadcast, so more punchy 30-second commercials. That's where I feel like I kind of fell in love with video, was just seeing all the different types of media that you can create working for a sports team.
I think I asked you one time, I was watching the Blazers game, it was like a mid-commercial, I was like, text you, I was like, did Tucker make that? Because it definitely looks like something that he would make, and I'm pretty sure you're like, yep, that's definitely something that he produces. Yeah. It's just like, it's cool sitting on the back burner over here watching it all happen and being like, oh, I know someone on the inside that does that. Yeah. Is it full benefits that you're like working with them too?
No, it's not, because I'm considered like a part-time fixed contractor. Essentially, it's a weird name. I can't remember the name of it right now, but I essentially have a start and end date. So I think my end date's in, June, hopefully, or May.
So you're 1099 probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I treat it as like, I'm putting in 40 hours a week. If I can save some hours so I can work later in the season, even better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it still feels like a full-time job, which I'm hoping, that's what I'm gunning for. I'd love to be on staff and do benefits and just be like, yeah, this is my thing, and I'm a part of the team. So that's what we're working for.
It's like the grind, and then you have your freelance stuff on top of it.
Exactly. That's something you can do year round.
I was gonna say, I feel like that would be tough because, I mean, obviously with where you're at now, you have the freedom to do sports and kind of storytelling, all that good stuff. But with freelance, you have 100% control over what you're doing, which I feel like allows you to still have that creative side. Obviously, everything you're doing is creative, but like when you're talking about like you just wanted to pump out back in high school, you just wanted to do cool videos. Yeah. And like freelance stuff, I feel like allows you to do that, on top of being passionate about the sports and the current role.
Yeah. And I mean, the different clients that I've been able to have, there's Red Cube, which is, they put on 45 East shows. That's, EDM shows and rap shows. I'm able to get to with them. I can make a really cool, after movie show like I was filming in college, and now I have even more polished skills, so I can make it even better. And then I can go tap into real estate where it's like, okay, we need some beautiful shots of this building, and that's more of a slower kind of video. But it's all still engaging. Like that's
branding. You did branding for a while for like that bikini company down in
Bikini
Arizona.
Hut. Which is now, I think it's still a thing. But the main girl who I was working with went to U of A, Ida, Central Catholic. I mean, it's just it just all goes back to like those connections you make, and word of mouth has been like huge for me. I mean, I have a website. It's great. It's expensive. Squarespace, help me out.
No free ads.
No free ads.
Big plans. That's what I want to talk to you about. Like any big future things coming up where you've already got it kind of on the schedule and you're like already planning it out. Obviously, I mean, I saw you did Alice in Wonderland for like the Damn Jam concert.
That was so cool.
Yeah, like
really fun.
Stuff like that. Do you have anything like lined up like that?
Well, luckily with Multnomah County going into moderate risk level, they're allowing Red Cube to put on like a drive-in show out of the raceway.
Oh yeah.
So that's coming up May 1st. It's 2 nights. I think you're gonna be in a pod, with your car and up to 8 friends. I think. Don't quote me on that, but that's gonna be a 2-day thing, and I'm able to kind of bring a crew. There will be a live stream aspect. So we'll have like one guy's gonna be a live shooter. So kind of just like an ultra festival thing where you're seeing the camera move around. So one guy's gonna be doing that. We're gonna be doing after movie. Like that's something I'm really excited about because I haven't shot.
We have to get our cars there. Free advertising,
so this is your kind of music, Trent. You're with the womps and the unces.
Totally.
Yeah. But that's exciting.
I'd go park my car there and have someone come pick me up.
Yeah, you could charge money. You could make your own pod. You could Uber. Oh, yeah, you should.
Pick me up.
All right. Well, I like going that way, and then you have a question for us.
Yeah, so obviously you guys are big into honing your craft and dabbling in podcasts and videos and everything. I mean, where do you see using those different platforms, to your advantage? Are you going to be growing your own business? I mean, what are your guys' plans to use media, for your stuff?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fully in on the content for both business and like this stuff. I mean, obviously we did the podcast with just audio for a while and then kind of saw the double benefit of like we might as well record ourselves and put it on YouTube for like the organic growth.
Oh yeah.
With my business wise though, it's just like I've watched from high school and through college, I've been that YouTube guy and I've watched people go from being like absolute $0 and still posting videos to now being like insanely wealthy through YouTube and posting videos. So like clearly content's taking over kind of the game. So it's just like doubling down on content and just putting it out there because it's going to be out there for forever. It's not like stuff's going to go away. I mean, Instagram, all that stuff is going to be around for foreseeable future. So it's just like, why not post things on a platform where people can find me and then constantly scroll through it and there's just a plethora of stuff. It's kind of like, it's like you gotta do it.
Not to do it.
Exactly.
I wouldn't say that I am 100% in, just because I have found it hard to accumulate content, for lack of better words, create it myself. If I'm living my normal day, I'll be the last person to stop and like take a picture of something cool, you know?
Right.
Like I don't really, that doesn't.
It's not you.
Yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not to the point where some people, like people that I follow, I mean, the dude has, like, solid professional edited stuff, and then, like, every now and then he just whips out his phone and he's at the gas station and he's just recording a video, or it's like I haven't gotten to that point where it's just, like, every waking second of my life I'm posting on social media, because I've never been a fan of that. I mean,
You're
my
not a
personal
vlogger,
my personal Instagram, I haven't posted on since, like, 2018. Like, I just went cold turkey on it, and I still don't like people. I forget who I was talking to, but it was just like I'm going to do this. I went and looked at hot tubs the other day, and it was like, take pictures. Didn't even take a single picture. Nope. Completely forgot. It was just like, I don't like, when I'm in that moment, my first thought isn't pull out my phone and let me post and show everyone on my story.
Yeah.
So like, until I don't think I'll ever get there, but like, I'm down with like the professional stuff, putting it out there and just having it. So I 100% you could say I'm in on that, but I'll never be the person that whips out my phone and it's just like, hey, talking to it.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future. I don't know. But until then, I'm good. I don't need to show everyone my whole life.
No.
Yeah, I am very, very into it for, like Alex said, the business aspect and kind of like the brand or whatnot. But that's kind of my
funny moments.
Draw the line.
Yeah,
Trent likes to roast me when we go golfing.
Oh,
yeah.
Trent can roast.
Yeah, I could do that every now and then.
Anywhere.
So it's just like little things like that, but it's not like I'm out golfing. Right. Oh, I'm having a drink. I mean, there's some people, it's literally, I mean, their story is like 100 click-throughs, and it's just what they did the whole day, every day.
Yeah.
I'm not that person.
No.
And for a guy who's not very like artistic and needs to, you know,
creative.
Yeah, I like business and like that idea.
Type A.
I'm numbers.
I don't
I'm not the creative side. I mean, like, for example, I'll shout him out. His name's That Mortgage Guy on Instagram.
Yep.
The dude pumps out like 6 reels a day, and it's like they are all solid, like 100K, 150K plus view reels. Yep. And he's so creative, and it's just like, dude, I don't sit there all day long and think of those like things in my head of like, oh, okay, this is what I want to put out. Oh, this is what I'm put out. Like when we were talking about putting out reels, it was a battle to figure out like what the hell to do, because
it sounds. I think it's still a battle.
It still is. Yeah, we stopped. I stopped completely on the reels.
Yeah.
Like, it went 0 dark 30 because it's just like I can't come up with a creative mindset like this guy does. I mean, obviously you could take his and just mimic him and post again, but it's like he gets that stuff because it's organic and it's good. I mean, like, for example, one that I saw the other day was literally something about like what other mortgage lenders do, and then he's like tying up his J's, and he's like, I go for a run, and like he's literally in a suit just sprinting down the street. It's just like I would never think of stuff like that. And I mean, he's there, or like some other person is like, big banks client, let me dance for me, and then it's like no, and then he's like doing his like shaking his butt. It's just like he is so creative to the point where it's like I don't think I'll ever get there. And like Trevor, our buddy Trevor, sends me his clips all the time, and I'm just like, dude, I get it. Like I watch him, like he's good at what he does. I just will never get there.
Yeah. I think it's just like the capacity. It's like you can focus on your business so much. It's like, oh, I know these videos would be good for my business, and they'd also help me find maybe potential clients and stuff. But I'm the same way. Like when I go to a show and I'm not shooting, or when I go to a game and I'm not shooting, my camera's in my phone and it's in my pocket. Like I'm not taking it out. I'm trying to, soak up the moment, because half the time I'll be shooting a show or something, and it's like I'm reliving that night for like 2 days in a row, and I'm ruining the song for me because I chose it in my edit. So I'm never going to be able to listen to it again. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. You got to find the happy medium. I can't be a vlogger. I was thinking about doing it in college, and it's like, no. Like, one, I don't want to be the kid on my bike with the GoPro, and with my coordination level, I would be dead.
I just watch, I mean, like, every waking second of their life, whether, I mean, that's the thing is, like, you watch these YouTube vloggers, and it's like, they've got the big camera, but then they still manage their Instagram, their Snapchat, and, like, they're posting on everything. It's just like, I could never get to that point. And then knowing that many people are constantly watching every waking step of your move, I mean, it's just like, I wouldn't ever want to be, like, that famous with, like, YouTube. So it's just like.
You gotta, go out of house for the media at that point. If you are posting and making a ton of money and having that many people engage with you, like, get it off my plate.
Right.
You do it for me. I need to stay mentally sane.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is crazy because we're just, I don't even know if we're at the tip of the iceberg yet.
I think it's just
content
starting.
Creation. There was a post today on Twitter about jobs and like percent of kids, going into college or something. And this was their list of like their top 10 jobs that they want to do. It was like YouTuber, like Twitch streamer. It was like drone pilot, podcast audio engineer. It's like when we were in high school, did we really think about doing any of those things? Like
No, even middle school.
10 years ago.
All my posters say like firefighter, policeman.
Right.
Like when I was young, like I'd never thought about holding a camera, doing like podcasts. I mean, all these people pioneered it, and now kids are seeing it, and it's like, oh, that's what they want to go after. It's like, it's great.
Yep.
But like these people spent 10, 15 years making absolute zero to create this industry, and it
wasn't always like this.
It's going to be hard. I mean, I look at it, there's only so much time in a day, and it's like if you're a new YouTuber and there's people that have their favorite YouTubers and they've got like 15 of them and all 15 post 15-minute videos, it's like, how are the kids going to watch another 15-minute video in the day when they've already got their favorite YouTubers? So it's just like you have to come in with this outlandish content that's going to completely like change the game to kind of capture that audience share back. And so it's crazy. Like all these kids think that they can do it, but it's an uphill battle for them. And
that's just, I mean, I kind of separate content, with like the day in the life videos, the David Dobrik's, the Jenna Marbles, like that style is pretty much just a YouTube thing. Mm-hmm. Like there aren't many companies that are looking for videos like that where we want 15 minutes with, a couple edits here and there, but it's just going to be funny. It's going to be a day in the life. Like that doesn't intrigue me at all. I would not want to be doing that for those people just because it wouldn't do anything for me, and the reason I do it is because, video editing, it excites me. It's what gets me going. Like,
have you seen the guy Eric on YouTube?
Mm-mm.
He's like he's come Iraq? Eric, AIRRACK, Eric.
Oh,
and it's his name's like Eric.
Okay,
but yeah, he came onto the scene like last year, and his goal was like 0 to 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and he like did it, and it's because his content is just so crazy, and it's so different than anyone else on the platform, and it's like he understood coming in and making a statement. It's like the only way you're going to kind of change it, and it's like you can't just pick up the camera and expect to go to the scooter park, do this, do that, and become famous like like all the FaZe Rugs, the Tanner Fox, like all those young guys that are out there doing it. It's like they are in their own lane. Like you have to come up and create your own lane. The Roman Atwoods, like no one's going to become a Roman Atwood starting today.
No, that came and went, and it kind of goes the same way to bring this full circle in the sense of like video editing. Like the tools that we have now, when I was starting out, making transitions and effects that didn't look, too iMovie-ish. Like those were tough to execute. Like you kind of had to learn how to do it step by step. It would take you hours. You would go into After Effects and look at a bunch of word vomit and figure it out. And I mean, now it's just the amount of tools that there are for video creators. Now it's all about like, how can I separate myself to the point where people maybe recognize what I'm using, but I'm using them in a way that's going to make it look different. And that's just a battle. But I mean, that goes for everything in the industry. Like people have been here, they've done that, but how do you go out of your way to maybe use that information, execute it, but make it different? It's a fun battle.
What about Daniel like Shifter or something like that? He teaches people. He does like commercials for products and stuff, and so then his YouTube channel is all about teaching like other content creators like how he gets these crazy shots and like all the B-roll for. I mean, like you've probably seen some of his pizza commercials. He does like big pizza commercials for like Blaze, where it's like all the food's topping on
foods. Yes, there's so many of those guys.
That's him.
Awesome.
Yeah, so he does that and like teaches people on YouTube, and like I watch some of his videos, and it's just like, dude, he is so creative with how he gets into it, and it's just like I can never get there. So it's like I always got to have someone for it.
Oh yeah, the tools are there though. There's the masterclass and that come out a few years ago, and now it's
Storyblocks.
There is something for everyone. I don't care if you want to make pizza or if you want to fly, a commercial aircraft. Like you can learn on your computer right now.
Oh yeah,
but it's like, do you have the patience level to want to become a video editor? Do you have
the motivation? I tried it. I was like, oh, I'm going to become a vlogger. And that lasted like 14 minutes, I think.
It's tough.
Yeah, it sucked. I hated it.
But you're good at what you do.
Yeah. And I'll stay in my own lane.
Yeah. Well, I'll still use your camera too. we'll do a couple critique classes and we'll get you on there. We'll use some shots.
My last story that I'll share from being camera 2 is leaving or dropping a memory card with all of my wedding footage on it in a grass field parking lot at the wedding we were at.
Hayfield. This was like tall, knee high.
And then going back 2 days later after I realized that, like, hey, we can't find any of the bags. Like, it must have fallen in my pocket.
Yep.
Finding it within 30 seconds of pulling up to the field again.
Very impressive.
2 days later.
Wow.
Yeah, that guy has a nose on him. He can smell it out.
I went from 0 to hero in the blink of an eye.
Yeah,
that's good.
We were gonna have to ask for a reshoot, or else.
Yeah.
Or as a 90
for wedding.
video.
Yeah, for the wedding. Yeah. Or it was a 90-second wedding.
So I had Trent on the first kiss. We can't find the SD card.
I need you to do it again.
We'll meet you at the church. Yeah.
God, that would be so bad.
That'd be brutal.
That'd be
All right.
tough.
What's next? Like, do you have any big fun plans or gigs coming up?
That drive-in one's gonna be cool. I'm hoping that we have fans back in the arena soon for playoffs, because that's always fun. We kind of alternate shooting those. We'll have Tristan, and then one of us will be on an alternate angle on the stairs, which is a cool angle. So looking forward to doing that. But just more freelance stuff. I've been working on projects that are still, in progress. I'd like to take a tropical vacation.
That makes two of
Go
us.
to Maui.
That makes
nice.
two of us.
See the Mahalo police.
Aloha.
I don't know. Just keep living, and hopefully life will get back to normal, where you can do more fun in person, like live events. That's just the best.
Yeah, I think a
Stuff
lot of
to shoot.
people are looking forward to that.
Yep.
It's about time.
It's been a year.
VACCINE. You could spell that on the thing right there. Boom.
And then boom, explosion.
Yeah, and then edit.
That's
All right. Where can people check out your clips, your edits?
I use my Instagram, I guess, the most. So just follow me at Tucker Hamilton with a CK. And my website is also Tucker Hamilton with a .com. That's pretty much where I post. Yeah.
No YouTubes?
No. I mean, I'll
Fat
put,
Films. You can go. You guys could go watch, and I swear
You can
you'll
see
have
me in
some
2013.
comedic relief. It is.
they're all down.
It is. Oh, really?
I took them down. I took them down in college. I mean, we put our friends in bikinis, and it's just now.
They were
that was tough.
hilarious.
I still have some old ones and all the BTS from like our first shoot at my parents' place. So
Those
are fun.
incredible.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
save them for memories. But those were golden. I just remember living with Trent first year in college, and he was like,
Those are great.
"Dude, I got to show you these. We used to do videos back in the day, and him and Christian just, oh my god, like popping out of the sunroof.
Yep. The dancing. Spider-Man tank top. Those are great.
It was gold.
I I found that Jesuit High School Central Catholic brawl video
Oh, yeah.
when I got trucked. And you checked my pulse and ran into the pile.
I would love to see that if
Yeah.
you wanted to share that with me at some point.
Oh wait,
I'll
I
send
did.
it over
I
to
think
you.
you showed me or someone. I got to see that as well.
Yeah.
And then who was the one guy you guys were? He like ran up and then just like ran back away from everyone. You guys were like, that kid, he's typical.
That was a tough look.
Don't need to name names, but
Yeah.
you guys know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, that was just good old clean family fun. I wish I could remember all of it. It's still a little fuzzy.
Yeah.
Blew the rotator cuff.
That happens.
So good times.
All right.
Thanks for having me on, boys.
Yeah, thanks for
it was
coming.
Appreciate it. Anytime.
Get some lotion on those hands, yeah?
Yeah,
All right.
Let's dry.
We're at the desk, and we are done talking to my boy Tucker Hamilton. Again, thank you so much for popping on with us today and having a conversation. Definitely go check his Instagram out. You will be able to entertain yourself for hours if you'd like to. I've done it myself. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Adios.
Hello.